Hey guys, it's ReptiWorks Aquatics. Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about coastal carpet pythons and ridgetail monitors. Again. But before we get into that, I also want to show you guys this. So this is the newest little python I've gotten. This is another diamond, very similar to the other one I got in my last video. Different type though. My other diamond is a rosette diamond. This one is a high yellow diamond. You can't really tell at the moment because he's so little. His yellow colour is only just barely starting to come out. But yeah, another snake I can keep you guys updated on as he grows. And yes, he is going to be part of my breeding that I'm going to start doing eventually. He's got a bit of growing to do though, so it's going to be a while before I can use this guy for breeding. So you guys might be wondering why I'm making another video about coastal carpet pythons when I've already got one explaining their care. The reason is I'm going to be removing that video probably soon. I've been thinking about doing it anyway. As is my ridgetail monitor video and possibly a few of my other older videos. I'm either going to just remove them and remake them or just remove them and not worry about it, because those videos when I made them, that was fairly early when I just, I guess, opened my channel up, and I didn't have a proper camera. I was just filming them on my phone, and I don't know, I'm just not overly happy with those videos, I guess. I personally prefer my videos now, how they seem to turn out now compared to back then. I mean, it's not much of a difference, but to me I prefer the ones I'm making now, so I'd rather just remake my old ones. So I'm just going to skim through coastal carpet python care and ridgetail monitor care just real quick for you. So pretty much these guys are a arboreal type of python, so they do like to climb. You do want to give them a branch of some sort to climb on. As hatchlings they're very snappy, but as you can see that does tame, you know, they do tame down as they get bigger. And yes, they do like a, you know, as any reptile, you have the hot side of the tank and the cold side. So their basking spot, you want it to be between 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, and the cool spot between 20 and 25 degrees Celsius. That's honestly it. These are a really simple snake. I mean, have an enclosure that's adequate size for them, preferably a taller one because they do climb. You can use heat mats for these guys if you want to, but I personally, if I'm going to use a heat mat with a big snake, I like to use a heat mat with a basking lamp as well, or even the ceramic lamps are quite good. So either of those are fine. I only really use, like me personally, I only really use heat mats for hatchlings. So all my hatchlings that I've got, yeah, they have heat mats or heat cords, because I have them in rack systems. So I've just got a heat cord running along the back of the whole rack system, so it's like one plug to power the whole thing pretty much. It's much easier. Or yeah, if I have little individual hatchlings in their own little, I guess, medium sized enclosure you'd say, I just have a heat mat. But yeah, anyways, I'm kind of trailing off there. Back to these guys, coastal carpets. So they do get to a reasonable size. This guy here is about 9 to 10 feet. He's pushing 10 feet long now. He's not going to get much bigger. They live between 20 and 30 years. So they're a long-term pet. Feeding wise, you can feed them once a week, you can feed them once every 2 weeks, either is fine. During the summer I feed him, during spring and summer I feed this guy and all of my snakes once a week. Now it's getting into, well, pretty much in winter now, and it's quite cold, so I've reduced it to once every 2 weeks because, you know, being cold-blooded, their metabolism slows down in the colder weather, so they're not as active, so they don't need to eat as often. So yeah, I actually just fed him a couple of days ago, so I'm not going to keep him out for too much longer. Coastal carpets are pretty common in the hobby. I mean, they're the snake that a lot of people use to crossbreed with too. Like for example, jungle jaguar carpet pythons. They're a very common little species of carpet python. They've got really great colours. They're not a natural species. They're a crossbreed, or a mutation as you'd say. They're a crossbreed of jungle carpets and coastal carpets. So yeah, these guys are quite common in the hobby. even if they are just used for crossbreeding, if anything else. But that aside, they do make pretty great snakes as well as pets. And yeah, Monty really likes the camera right now. He just wants to get to it. But not going to let you do that. You'll pull it down. They get a pretty good temperament, these guys, as well. I mean, when they're little, yes, they're very, very snappy little snakes. Monty, this guy, he was like this too. But I mean, look at him now. He's tame as hell. Mind you, I've had him for about 15 years, so he's, you know, had him a while. But he was only aggressive for maybe the first 6 to 8 months, I'd say, and then he calmed down quite a lot. Jungle Jags, my little Jungle Jag's nothing like that. He's so aggressive, and I've had him for a few months, and he still hasn't shown even the slightest sign of calming down. So we'll just have to see how that one goes. He's getting some size on him. He's getting fat too. I mean, that's a pretty fat for a carpet snake, I guess. Yeah, I just thought I'd redo this. I mean, look, this video is probably not going to be anything special either, but I really don't like my older videos. The sound is bad, and the picture quality isn't the greatest, just because I was filming on my phone. That's all I had at the time. And yeah, I guess I just wasn't as used to talking in front of a camera then either, so just rather remake him. Plus, I seem to make a lot of my videos in my room now. It's kind of become my thing for my channel, I guess. It's just expected now, so I guess I'm going to keep doing that for a while. So I guess it's been a little while anyway since you've seen my Ridgetail. Not much has changed with him. It is getting colder now, so he's starting to just become a bit less active, and I don't see him every day now. Half the time he's just sleeping. But yeah, he does really well. So yeah, pretty much with Ridgetails, they are a desert species of monitor. They're a small species, as you can see. They don't get too much bigger than this. They get a little bit bigger, but that's it. And yeah, so for these guys, you don't need an overly huge enclosure in comparison to like Monty, the coastal carpet. I've got this guy in a 3x2x2 reptile tank. And that's more than enough for a single Ridgetail. And in that, I've just got desert sand. I've got the universal rock inserts and caves and ledges and stuff for him to climb on. So yeah, he's got plenty to climb on and go under and burrow as well, because they do like to burrow. They like their caves and hides. He always sleeps in his hides, so yeah. Their diet is pretty much strictly carnivorous, being a monitor species. So you can feed them crickets, you can feed them wood roaches, mealworms, superworms, pinky mice. Like this one, he loves his frozen pinky mice. You don't want to give him too many of those. They're like a treat because they're quite fattening, so you want to have most of the diet to be, you know, other invertebrates like the crickets and woodies and whatnot, with calcium powder and vitamin powder on them. And yeah, every now and again you give him a pinky mouse as a treat. That's still his favourite. So yeah. He's doing quite well. He's halfway through shedding at the moment. That's why he looks kind of two-toned. Unlike snakes, lizards don't shed all in one go. They just flake, I guess you'd say, and they end up being patchy for a little while. So Ridgetails do like quite a hot basking spot as well. 50 degrees is fine. They can tolerate up to 60 to 65. Because where they're from, it's just quite hot, so they've adapted to tolerate those temperatures. But they do like it a bit hotter than some other species of lizard. So yeah, 50 to 55 degrees. 60 is fine too, they can tolerate it, but I run mine at about 50. Yeah, and he loves it. So you want the hot end of the tank, the basking end, to be 50 to 55, and you want the cool end to be about 30. So yeah, other than that, a UV light, same as any other lizard species. 10.0 UV spectrum is fine, and that's really it. Feed him about 3 times a week. These are a great monitor for people to start with because they don't get too big, and they're not as prone to problems. Some lizard species are a little more sensitive than others. They're prone to different health issues. Ridgetails are pretty bulletproof. They don't really get any major issues if they're looked after properly. And yeah, they're just they're very handleable. Not aggressive, quite active though. As you can see, this one just wants to get down, so he's just climbing around. And yeah, you can keep a few of them together. So you can have like a single male with 2 or 3 females, that's fine. They get along quite well. 2 males can sometimes fight with each other unless they've been brought up together. So, be careful with that one. Their tail's actually like slightly prehensile too. As you can see, he just grips things with his tail to keep his balance. And I haven't really put this little fella in many of my videos lately because it has been getting colder, and I don't film that often. But when I do, he's never out. He's always in his cave sleeping or something, so it's just by coincidence. I was doing the Coastal Carpet filming and he was out, so I was like, oh good, I'll film you as well, I guess. So, yeah. And while we're on the topic of pythons, I thought I'd just give you guys another little update on this fella. This is my rosette diamond python that you saw in my last video. He's been doing great. He eats really well. Obviously hasn't grown much, it's not been that long, but yeah, he's doing great. Really like his personality. His feeding response is so good. You just walk up to the tank. He always curls up in the back corner, and as soon as you walk up to his tank, he just stretches out to the front of the tank to see who's there. Obviously he just wants food, but it looks like he's saying hello, even though I know he's just after food, but yeah, he's doing great. So I do plan on crossing this guy over with that little yellow, the high yellow diamond when that one gets big enough. There is a bit of an age gap between the two, so that's kind of a big maybe if that happens or not. But we'll just see. Yeah, these guys, their care is very similar to the Coastal Carpet. These guys are pretty much from South Australia. So yeah, they're native to where I'm from, New South Wales. They're used to a cooler climate than the coastals. They're out of the same family. Diamonds are a subspecies of carpet python technically. They're out of the same family. But yeah, the diamonds specifically are more tolerant to cooler weather. They don't need their basking spot to be quite as hot either. 30 degrees is fine. Like I just run my coastal and my diamond at 30. That's kind of that neutral temperature that most snakes and reptiles seem to like anyways. But the diamonds can tolerate colder temperature, which is good because where I'm from it does get a bit cold during the winter. I don't let him get too cold or anything, but if it happens and he can tolerate it. But yeah. So I just feed this guy once a week. He just gets a rat once a week, frozen rat. These are an arboreal species as well, just like the coastals. They love to climb. As you can see, he's a very active type of python. He's nothing like, for example, my Darwin carpet, my little albino Darwin. He's very relaxed, and he'll just kind of curl up around your arm or your wrist or whatever and just sit like that and not move. I've had many children's and spotted pythons that do that as well. These guys and coastal carpets, they're quite a long, slender type of python. I mean, considering the size they get, they're pretty slender. Being an arboreal species, I guess, makes it easier to climb when you're not a ridiculously fat snake. Anyways, guys, that was pretty much my little video. It's nothing special, but yeah. I'm going to be removing a few old videos soon, so this is kind of just elaborating some of the main points I tried to make in those. Catch you guys later. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe. Cheers, guys. See ya.